Raza hadn't touched the key all day. He had shoved it deep into a drawer, slammed it shut, and tried to bury the thought of the locked door. But it didn't matter. The whispers wouldn't let him rest. They no longer came only at midnight. They followed him everywhere now. While he washed his face in the morning, Raza! While he cooked his meals, let me out! While he tried to close his eyes in bed, open the door! His apartment was no longer his own. The air grew colder each passing night. The walls seemed to pulse with muffled breaths, and shadows stretched unnaturally across the corridor. By the sixth night, Raza knew there was no escape. His curiosity was no longer just curiosity. It was obsession. At exactly midnight, he found himself standing before the last door once again. His feet had carried him there without thought, as though the whispers were pulling invisible strings. The lock hung before him, rusted and weak, and in his hand, the key. He didn't even remember taking it out of the drawer. His chest heaved as he raised it. His skin crawled with cold sweat, and every instinct screamed at him to run, to leave the building, to never look back. But the voices were louder than ever now, filling his skull, drowning his thoughts. Open it, Raza. Set us free. We are waiting. His trembling hand slid the key into the lock. Click. The sound was deafening in the silence. The lock fell away and clattered to the ground. Raza froze, gripping the doorknob with a shaking hand. For a long moment, he couldn't breathe. He was about to turn back, about to run, when something unexpected happened. The knob twisted on its own. The door creaked open, slow, deliberate, as though welcoming him. A gust of icy air rushed out, carrying the scent of damp earth and decay. His heart nearly stopped. The room was dark, too dark. His eyes couldn't pierce the blackness beyond the doorway, though the light in the hallway was still flickering above him. He took a step forward. The wooden floor groaned beneath his feet. His breath puffed out in mist from the cold. The door shut behind him with a loud thud. Raza spun around in panic. The doorknob was gone. The flat wooden surface met his hand. No way out, no escape. His chest tightened as the whispers ceased suddenly. The silence inside the room was crushing, thick, alive. Then he saw it. In the farthest corner of the room, dimly illuminated by the faint flickering light leaking through a crack in the wall, was a chair. An old, broken chair. And on it sat a figure. At first he thought it was a shadow. The figure's body was still, its head bent forward, hands resting on its knees. But the air around it seemed darker, heavier, like a pool of ink swallowing the room. "Hello?" he whispered, though his voice cracked with fear. The figure didn't move. He took a hesitant step forward. His eyes struggled to adjust, catching glimpses of pale skin, ragged clothing, something glistening along the floor like spilled water. Another step. His foot bumped against something. He looked down. Scratch marks. Deep, jagged lines carved into the wooden floor, stretching in all directions, as though dozens of hands had clawed desperately at the ground. Raza's throat tightened. He slowly raised his gaze back to the chair. The figure was no longer facing down. It was facing him. Its head had turned, impossibly slow, creaking like old wood. Two hollow eyes glowed faintly in the darkness, fixed on Raza. He stumbled back, his hand slamming against the door that wasn't there anymore. The figure rose. Its movement was deliberate, unnatural, its limbs bending as though bones were too loose within them. The air grew colder with every step it took toward him. The whispers returned, but now they were inside the room, inside his head. "You opened it. You shouldn't have come. Now you belong here." Raza's chest heaved. He pressed himself against the wall, fumbling for anything, any way out. But the room stretched endlessly around him, larger than it had seemed from the outside. The walls seemed to bend, warping in the darkness. The figure stopped just a few feet away. Its face was clearer now, skin stretched thin, lips torn into a jagged grin, eyes glowing faintly as if lit from within. Raza tried to scream, but no sound left his throat. The figure leaned closer. Its breath was cold, its whisper a blade in his ear. "You made a mistake." The lights flickered violently. The walls pulsed with shadows crawling across them like living veins. Raza's vision blurred, his head spinning as though the very air was suffocating him.